Welcome to Sparks, Nevada, site of the Tesla Gigafactory and our Tesla semi-truck factory as well. So, I can't believe it's been 5. So, people might wonder why build a semi-truck? Because if you look at the actual unit volume, it's small compared to passenger vehicles. So, for passenger vehicles, there's on the order of almost 100 million that are sold every year, and whereas semi-trucks, it's like for 400,000 or 500,000.
Not even, yeah. It's a couple 100,000 Class 8 trucks a year.
Globally.
Yeah. Or no. Sorry, that's U.S.
Yeah. So in the U.S. there's like 15 million passenger vehicles and a couple 100,000 semi-trucks. So it seems like a small percentage, but it's actually 20% of U.S. vehicle emissions because you've got a huge vehicle and it's being driven all the time. So when you factor in the number of hours driven and the weight that it's carrying, it's actually, although it's only 1% of vehicle production, it's 20% of vehicle emissions. And it's over a third of all the particulate emissions. So from a sort of health standpoint, particularly in like cities, this is a huge impact, like it's gigantic.
We've been through hot, cold, snow, rain. We've been putting this thing through all its paces in the lab as well as in the real world. The simulation team has been doing an incredible job of being able to scale all of that, in the virtual side. And the other thing is that we're going to take these and we're going to put our money where our mouth is. And we're going to put these on into our own fleet, into our own supply chain. And we're going to use this to transport goods between our factories and our suppliers, because we believe in it, not just from a mission perspective and a cost perspective, but because we want to close that feedback loop. We got to get that learning as fast as we can. We want it straight from the drivers, we want it straight from the service techs that are working on it. We're going to take all that data that's coming in and continue to refine the product and make it better, just like we do on the car side.
We're using the carbon overwrap sleeve, so essentially we're using the Plaid Model S, Model X powertrain, but we're actually enabling the two of the drive units to actually disconnect so that they're not free spinning. So the efficiency is actually much greater in cruise.
Yeah, this is really unique. I mean, we're going with a tri-motor system. One of them is constantly engaged, so that's for maximum efficiency. You're getting on a highway, that's doing the bulk of the work, and it's operating at the peak efficiency point of the entire drivetrain. And then the other two units are for torque and acceleration. So when the driver needs it to get their job done, whether that's getting out of a loading dock or it's on the road, they need to pass somebody, you're tackling a grade, you have the torque and power to do it. And the cool thing is that these are clutched automatically, so no driver input needed, but it's also seamless. So the highway efficiency unit is cruising along doing its thing, and if the driver puts their foot to the floor, the torque unit spin up, clutch engages, and takes over, and it does all of that before we've maxed out the torque on the efficiency unit, so it's completely smooth. There's no turbo lag or jerkiness or anything like that. No driver input needed. It's smooth, both in terms of acceleration and deceleration for regen. It's really cool happening all behind the scenes. So that truck's clocking it at 82. That's weighing 82,000 pounds. And when you see that pass shot again, you'll notice that speedometer is climbing. We're going 6% and accelerating up that grade. Yeah. This is where it comes in.
Yeah, it's like driving a normal car, not like driving a truck. It's just that you're moving 82,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So any highway grade you come across, you can tackle at speed.
Yeah.
There's no compromise.
No slowdown.
Nope. And the other beauty is that you've got all this power going up, but you also have it going down. And what that means is you've got regenerative braking. So rather than using a Jake brake or engine braking like a diesel truck does, where you have to worry about hitting your shifts. If you miss a gear, you're onto your brakes and potentially in a runaway situation. You don't have to worry about any of that. There's no shifting, no nothing. And so the regen recaptures all that energy as you're going down these grades. But on top of it, it also is a safer system for not just the driver, but everybody on the road, because there's no gear to miss. But yeah, standard trip. Down the 5, up Grapevine, through LA, traffic, construction. We got the bypass on the way station, but running full 80 or just under 82, full deliveries, nothing to hide.
Yeah. So. Yeah, real world.
He did take one restroom break for. There is a required mandatory 30-minute break within the first 8 hours of operation.
Okay.
Took a small restroom break, but that was it. Yep.
All right.
I mean, the team's done a lot of awesome work. I mean, we went into the wind tunnel with this really cool model, rolling road, the whole 9 yards. and pulled in a lot of learnings and all of our features from the car side that give us such great real-world efficiency there, and really want to make sure that the truck and the trailer have to work together. This is a combination. This is not just the truck. If you optimize one, you actually might disrupt the whole combination. And so we spent a lot of time, both virtually, but also in the wind tunnel to make this happen, and really some next level engineering to of everything they had to do there. And it means that we've got a really efficient truck.
With basically no training, you can drive this. You have to think bigger when you're driving it. But it's not it's not hard to drive. It's really easy. And we put the seat in the center for max visibility, low floor. You can stand up in the cabin.
Yeah, and that's actually like a really big deal. I mean, you're a tall guy, Elon. Like, you're able to stand up just fine. And the nice thing is that if you're a truck driver and you're out during the day and it's cold, it's snowy, whatever, you can get in, and this isn't a sleeper cab, this is a day cab. You can still stand up, and you can shed your jacket, put it on the wall, all in the comfort. You can put your coveralls on while in the cab. So if you have to go do a dirty job, you can do that comfortably as opposed to being out in the elements. So that's, that level of space is unheard of. And we were able to do that with some pretty innovative packaging. And on top of it, there's plenty of cargo storage, for drivers that need to bring any tools, other equipment along. And not to mention, we've got the plugins, the wireless charging, everything they need on the electronic side as well.
Obviously, to charge a truck like this quickly, you need a high-power charger. So we developed a megawatt class charger, as it's capable of charging at a megawatt to DC.
Yeah.
And it's our next generation immersive cooling, so it's liquid cooled. So you don't need like a gigantic elephant trunk of a cable. You can actually have a small cable, and that cable delivers a megawatt. So the future of transport obviously requires a sustainable energy infrastructure. So you've got to have all aspects of the energy question answered. Sustainable power generation, then you've got to store the power, and then you transfer the power to the vehicle. So the three pillars of a sustainable energy future are sustainable power generation with solar and wind. I'm actually a fan of nuclear, which we should support. And geothermal and many others, but things that are sustainable long term, but things like wind and solar are intermittent, so you have to have the battery pack to store the energy, so when the wind doesn't blow and the sun doesn't shine, you still have energy, and you can also buffer the power so you're not overloading the grid with spike loads.
Yeah, and our semi-customers are actively deploying this today, and we're working with them so that they have the pathway to get towards 100% sustainable future. But we have all of this at our disposal, commercial solar and Megapack, and the Megapack is great because not only can it do things like peak shaving or some of the other energy modulation, but it also provides a form of redundancy and backup. I mean, if we're going to ask a fleet to take on these trucks and run them, they need to ensure that they're going to be able to charge them and keep their fleet running even in the event of a power outage, and that's one of the things that we can do with the Megapack on site as well.
All right, so thank you all for coming. It's been a long journey, a long 5 years, but this is going to really revolutionize the roads, and I think make the world a better place in a meaningful way. So thank you for your support through all the years.